at him.
Can you lean him my way?
Come here, buddy. Okay. Whoop, there we go. Oh, look at that guy there.
Boy, is that a
beautiful
tubzo?
fish. What?
Tubzo, boy.
Boy, look at that beautiful fish. That's what we're talking. Boy, you wouldn't believe it. A lot of people would think, you know, the baits that we're using, these 5-inch Trigger X minnows, when you look at a lot of soft plastics or soft baits for walleyes, and they're relatively small and docile, but these fish are really feeding on relatively big forage, and you wouldn't believe how many small fish you catch on a bait that big. One of the other real keys is the weight of the bait. A lot of times you want to fish a relatively heavy head. You know, a lot of walleye fishing situations, when you're jig fishing, you try to use a lighted jig as possible. For this situation, you want a relatively heavy bait. The reason being is for control. You want to be able to control where that bait is moving through the water column. We drop it down to the bottom, you reel it up 4 or 5 feet, and then just stabilize the bait. Just hold it there and let it glide. Today we're using 1/4 and 3/8 ounce VMC Mooneye jigs tipped with soft baits. What makes this jig design so good for moping? The eye is positioned atop of the head in perfect position for vertical fishing. The wire bait keeper positions the bait tight to the jig head and prevents it from slipping down the hook. And the wide gap ensures the hook point is always exposed, in perfect position to set the hook point when using bulky soft baits. The baits we're using today is a Trigger X 5-inch minnow, which matches the slim profile of the forage fish they're feeding on. It has a subtle, lifelike tail movement even at rest. In clear water conditions like we're fishing today, natural color patterns usually work best. Speaking of clear water, 8 to 10 pound test Suffix castable fluorocarbon is our line of choice. It's not only invisible to the fish, but transmits light bites, and its low stretch characteristics let you set the hook with authority. One final tip, shift the position of your knot to the back of the hook eye for moping. This helps hold the jig and soft bait combo perfectly horizontal, mimicking the natural appearance of suspended bait fish. The other thing that's really critical is the way you rig these baits, and I'm absolutely sold on this. You know, for all different species of fish with this technique, you have to make sure that the bait is threaded on there correctly. It's got to be perfectly straight. The thing is that I think a lot of times when that bait is moving along at a real slow speed, a lot of the fish are actually tracking the bait and looking at it for a period of time, so it's got to look pretty right. And I've noticed before when you get up, you know, you'll miss a fish and the bait will be kinked or a little bit funky, and you will not get bites. You want that bait running perfectly straight through the water column. That's what's really key. And this thing is so soft, it's just really lifelike, and just a natural drifting movement to the boat and bouncing. It's sitting there, it's just swimming along like this.